Hey YouTubers from the VC Big Star 1000s with another Gimme Ten on post-punk, a style of music which I totally love, and I have a lot. I've got a lot of post-punk in my collection, and for this reason I decided to break it down into UK and US, and maybe I'll even do an Australian post-punk video, who knows. But today it's US, American post-punk, some fantastic records. Not by any means the best post-punk records. And also, because I need to avoid showing the same records twice, I've omitted things like ESG, for example, which I showed in the New York video. Try to never show a record twice in the Gimme Ten. Just pick something else. So US post-punk with some great bands, some great records. Almost all of his records are originals, which is great. Anyway, let's start. The first band, when I think of post-punk, just almost immediately the first US band that comes to mind is Pere Ubu. Pere Ubu, a band from Cleveland, Ohio. They were led by they're still a band, sorry, led by a crazy dude called David Thomas, who is basically the mold in which Frank Black from the Pixies was cast. I mean, he's the same kind of nutty character, and he's, very singular vocal style. I chose to put Dub Housing here because, I mean, it is a second masterpiece after the Modern Dance, but I have an original of this Dub Housing, whereas my copy of the Modern Dance is a reissue, so I thought I'll just show this to you. It's a bit more interesting. Obviously, if I have to choose, the Modern Dance is a better record, but this is a fantastic record, nonetheless. Very splintery post-punk, just some crazy music, a bit like a post-punk version of Captain Beefheart, if you can imagine what that would sound like. And very close to Cleveland, Ohio, is another great band, I think from Akron, Ohio. Is that where Andreas Grecian Thunder? Is that where you're from? You're from Ohio, but. And the band is Devo, and this is the Be Stiff, Devo Be Stiff. It's on Stiff Records. It's the only Devo that's on Stiff, I think. It's a classic record. It's more like an EP. It's got a classic Devo songs, Joko Homo, the cover version of Satisfaction, Be Stiff, Mongoloid. Just a superb record. This is an OG piece, very cool to have. Devo, Mark Mosbo is the leader. I mean, you and Devo, they wear funny hats and stuff. I mean, I don't need to tell you. Right on the other side of it. Oh no, I'll cross the United States, and I'll go to the other side. I was talking about Captain Beefheart, and when I think of Captain Beefheart, I also think of the Residents for some reason. And the Residents were on Ralph Records. I think it was their label anyway. Another band from Ralph Records, San Francisco, is Tuxedomoon. This is a fantastic record. You can see it's a promo copy, which is cool to have. It's obviously on Ralph Records. Tuxedomoon, I don't know how to describe their music, but it's deeply original. All I can say to you, you have to listen to Tuxedomoon. It's real. I mean, it would be fairly close in spirit to things like Pere Ubu, indeed, but I think someone can give you a better description. But this is Desire is probably the best record, and if you want to check it on YouTube, it's probably easier. Another San Franciscan band that's awesome, and this is not an original, unfortunately. It's a reissue, but the band is Chrome, and I would say this was their best album half machine lip moves. This is a recent reissue on Lilith, the Russian label. Beautifully done, very nicely done. Chrome, you know, they remind me a bit of Wire, the English post-punk band Wire in places, or they've got this sort of very arty punk style to their music, very arty, super arty, actually. Really like this record, Chrome. From Athens, which is in Washington State, is right? Athens, it's where R.E.M. and the B-52s are from. You also get this great band called Pylon, and this is their debut album, Gyrate. Pylon were a female-fronted band. What's her name? Vanessa Ellison. That's her. She was the singer. A little bit like a more punky, a more arty blondie, if you will. Very good. It reminds me a lot of the Gang of Four, if you want to compare it to anything at all. Pylon, Gyrate. It's a fantastic record. This is an original. You can see the ring wear on it, but it's a superb record. It's a fantastic record from Athens. I'll finish off with a bunch of New York things that I haven't showed. But before I go to New York, this band I really love. They're from North Carolina. I wanted to show Feely's first record, but I thought that was too obvious. But a record that's similar in style, I think, is the debut DB's record. DB's were from North Carolina. This is their first record. Very power pop infused, but nonetheless, I would call it post-punk, being from 1981. And, you know, these people played with members of television. And so it's a fantastic record. And listen to the first track. The very first track on this record, Black and White Dynamite, is just unbelievable. The DBs. And a bunch of New York records, great New York records. The most post-punk infused record that the Talking Heads ever made is probably Fear of Music. It's another Brian Eno production, and this is an original as well. It's got you see the embossed, I just pulled it out, fantastic record from start to finish, masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. On Sire, it's a must-have in anybody's collection. It's an excellent record. Obviously talking about David Byrne and all the rest. And the other day when I was doing the New York installment, I was considering putting this record in, but I didn't in the end. But we're talking about punk funk of the highest order, James White and the Blacks. And you can see it's got a crib corner and it's a DJ copy. This is a fantastic record. James White, also known as James Chance, The Contortions. Lady Lunch is on this somewhere, I think, or is she on the Contortion record? No, she's there on guitar. Lady Lunch, James White and the Blacks, superb record, very funky, a bit like if James Brown fronted Pere Ubu. There you go. A record sent to me by Chris4127 Basket. Thank you very much. I thought originally it was a Belgian record, but it's not. It's actually a New York punk band, Konk. Punk funk again, great stuff. Very much like A Certain Ratio from England. Excellent record. I thought it was from Belgium. It was recorded in Belgium, but they're actually American. And finally, a bit controversial maybe, but I've chosen to include this monster masterpiece by Laurie Anderson. It's a 4 LP box set. It's a really sterling kind of record. It's called the United States Live. And yes, to me, it sounds post-punk. It's phenomenal. So here's my 10 minutes, people.